to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. My name is Ross Benjamin. I'm your host. It's Monday, April the 8th. And like every Monday, I'm always joined by Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com. But our regular guest who's going to be joining us every Monday is the veteran, the incomparable one, Mr. Chip Chirimbes. And folks, just a friendly reminder, give us a like on our videos. It goes a long way in making our sponsor happy. And also, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, what are you waiting for? It's absolutely free to do so. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, that black subscribe button right underneath the video box. Or if you're on your PC, you'll see a WC logo. That stands for Winner's Circle. Just click on that. It serves the same purpose. 100% free, no strings attached, no hidden agenda. And while you're at it, folks, if you are a subscriber or you're new, either or, just go into your YouTube settings and click on that alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. You'll be notified upon any of our 5 podcasts going up weekly right here on our great channel. Doug, how are you, my man?
I'm doing well, and hey, we're nice to be talking some baseball today, so that's good stuff. And of course, tonight's the national championship game on Monday, but we're here to talk about baseball. And 2 things of note that I'll just pass along. Number one, the Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas A's, I don't know, whichever one you want to call them, they're all good. They're 6-1 on the run line, okay, in their last 7 games, so that's of note. And then I'm kind of wondering what the purpose of spring training is a little bit as of right now, because if you go and look at bullpen ERAs right now, half the teams have an ERA of 4.38 or higher. So in terms of what was accomplished in spring training, basically, I have no idea, because it just seems to be they're just throwing guys out there and kind of seeing how it goes, and not a lot of correlation in terms of what's ultimately going to happen. So I don't know. It's a little bit puzzling, but it is true nonetheless.
Certainly is. And Chipper, Charlie O. Finley's got to be turning in his grave, as Doug just said. The Oakland A's they're in between right now. They're lame duck status, playing in Oakland before friends and family, it seems like. It's been that way for a few years now. And part-time going to be playing in Sacramento, a AAA ballpark, and I believe. And then they'll be moving to your hometown, Las Vegas. Are you going to be a Las Vegas A's fan, Chip?
Oh, yeah, of course. Any kind of baseball I'm into. But I don't understand why they're just not coming to Las Vegas right now. We have the facilities. We have the area. You'd be building up your home base as it is. That part gets me. I don't understand why they're going north to Sacramento when they can come east and get to Las Vegas. And we've already got, we have our own aviators here. You don't have to use that park. You still have Cashman Field. And Las Vegas has got it all, and I don't understand why they went to Sacramento.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But then again, when you see the decisions made in that organization over the last couple decades, it does it shock you? I would say that all 3 of us are going to say no. Okay. So in any event, listen, let me address this, okay? And I got to this is one of my vent sessions, so you 2 are going to have to bear with me here, okay? Thursday, me and Chip did a video on the Final Four. And Chip mistakenly said Alabama was in the ACC, and then he mistakenly said, let me finish, Chip. He mistakenly said Clark was the center and not DJ Burns from North Carolina State, okay? And everybody can't wait to jump all over us and say, you old guys, this, that, and the other thing. Let me clarify something for you. This is a sports betting video channel. This is a sports betting podcast. Honestly, we can care less what names are on either side of the equation, because we're out to beat a number. And Chip, of all people, okay, has made his living for the last 40 years beating a number. Now, if you want to start bringing up the age factor, let me clarify this to you. We're not trying to run and get timed in the 40-yard dash, okay? Where at 20, we ran it at 4.5, and at 70, we're running it at, or 60, we're running it at six days, okay? That's not as long as we're sound in mind, folks, age means nothing in this business. And quite frankly, it's a benefit to you because guys who last a long time in this business do so not because they're not successful. And we're still monitored every pick we put up. So having said all that, come up with something better. If you need to just hinge on every little word we say as opposed to the content that we give you, if you don't want to listen to us, guess what? No hair off our back, okay? You're the one penalizing yourself. Chip, okay. I said what I had to say. Now, I know you were chomping at the bit to say something. Now's your time.
We've been doing this a long time, and I've been transposing names and teams for my entire career. I can go back to when we started in New York on Manhattan Cable TV. It's happenstance, but Burns and Clark both have 5 letters, so you have to understand how I equated that.
Yeah. And one guy chimed in and says, "Yeah, well, I get Caitlin Clark and DJ Burns confused all the time." But Doug, I appreciate you guys being calm through that rant, but because I host a show on a daily basis and I protect my guys. Again, people lose sight of the fact that really at the end of the day, if you want to really get caught up with names and pronunciations, maybe you should play fantasy and not endeavor in the sports betting.
Yeah. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Okay, everybody has misspeaks. I have frequent ones. I'll just say this, and this has become my pet slogan, and there's a reason behind it. But you know what? No matter what our age is, okay, chances are anybody that's viewing this video is going to be that age too. So all I'm saying, keep it in mind.
There's a lot of youngsters that
I know, I understand that, and
I think they invented the wheel, and at the end of the day, it's not like when we were kids. If you had a problem with somebody, you looked at them in the eye, face to face, and discussed it, and whatever transpired after that, use your imagination. But we didn't write letters to each other or text each other and act like a tough guy. So, in any event, folks, we appreciate each and every one of you. We're talking about a small, isolated portion of our viewers, okay? So let me clarify that. But I wanted to get that out of the way. We're all sound of mind. We all have great track records. And we all, if you look for our records as we speak right now, we're documented not only at gamblersworld.net, which is our sponsor site, but all over the internet. And we use the same plays on every site that we post at. All right, we have 3 baseball picks. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. I'm going to look at the Tigers and the Pirates. Chipper's going to look at the Astros and the Texas Rangers, and Doug will be looking at the Brewers and the Reds. Okay, let's start with Chip. Okay, and we'll get the names right here, Chip, so we get this out of the way.
Well, my cognizance, I don't know how it affected this weekend, but we did sweep the board on Saturday in the NCAA and came back with our big Sunday night magical win with the Houston Astros, who we're also looking at today in this matchup against Texas. Ross, I talk about all the time about numbers and how we interpret them. I mean, here we have Texas, which is the World Series champions, if I'm correct this time around. And they're starting Andrew Haney. They're at home, and they're a $1.30 underdog to the Astros. It doesn't quite make sense to me. I could understand if Texas was the favorite. I know Framber Valdez gets a lot of respect, as he deserves. He's 0-0 this year. He's only pitched 12 innings, given up 11 hits, doesn't have a decision. Last year against Texas, Ross, he was 1-2. His ERA was 4.32. But overall, he's 7-5 against his team with an ERA under 3 of 2.9. I just think this number is telling me that Houston's coming to play. They got off to that horrid start. I think they only won 2 of the first 9. And, Haney has been effective, but he only went 4 2/3 his first time out, only give up 4 hits. 1 earned run, by the way. Now, Ross, how about this? This guy didn't give up a walk, went 4 2/3 innings and threw 90 pitches. I mean, this is a game I don't think any of us would have liked him sitting in the stands watching. I mean, we're 90 pitches in 4 innings, and he didn't walk anybody. So he was 1-0 against Houston last year, but career-wise, he's 4-4. I think Houston's the side here. Haney, I think it was 3-4 short years ago, was the opening day starter for the California Angels. And he's sort of fallen off the chart a little bit, and he hasn't been a mainstay complete starter in anyone's rotation since. He's had his times, I'm sure, but I'm looking for Framber Valdez to do a job, and for the Astros to get over on Texas. I mean, $1.35 favorite on the road to me against the World Series champions. It sort of raises a red flag.
Yeah, well, Framber Valdez, 4 starts at Texas since 2021, averaging 7 innings pitched per start, and a 161 ERA and an 096 WHIP in those starts. So further exemplifies Chip's point about Valdez being a difference maker here and the line being a little bit of an oddity. And like we always like to say, folks, if it looks too good in sports betting, more times than not, it is. And Doug, the only thing that concerns me with Houston right now is their bullpen. I mean, they continue to struggle. The Astros bullpen, 6.90 ERA and 179 WHIP on the year, and they've allowed 7 home runs in 31 and a third.
Yeah, that's a problem. So is the offense, 3.7 runs per game. I mean, they won yesterday, so nice victory last night for Chip, but they're still not scoring a ton of runs here, and that's why I'm going to take the run line with Texas in this particular game. I think that taking that 1.5, I think Haney can keep him in the game. Yeah, I mean he's a soft tosser. I mean he just a lot of junk pitches, and for Framber, is very good. Okay, really like him as a pitcher. More so in big games by and large. But one thing I did check out is that Texas, when they are priced from minus 130 to minus 190 on the run line, they are 36-11. And if they have gone 2 straight games without giving up a home run, they are 20-5 on the run line. So I'm going to take the plus 1.5 with the Texas Rangers at minus 140, Ross.
All right, there you go. So, Doug likes the Texas Rangers plus 1.5, minus 140, but our official pick comes from Mr. Chirimbes. We like the Houston Astros minus 135 on the money line. So we'll see what happens there. Don't forget, folks, last year these teams played a historic 7-game series in which the road teams went 7-0. All right, Doug, your turn, my man. We're going to look at your game, and that's the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers. And looks like Aaron Ashby will be the starter for the Brewers. And for the Reds, Graham Ashcraft. This game goes quite early, 6:40 p.m. Eastern time. So take note of that. Right now, Cincinnati is minus 106. Brewers are minus 104. The total in this game is 9. Take it away, Doug.
Yes, and for those that have watched this video and just before the season, Ross and I talked a little bit about the Reds, or about the Central Division in the National League. And I said, hey, it's likely to be the worst division in baseball. Well, after 11 days, guess what? There's no losing teams in that division right now. Okay?
It's early.
St. Louis is 5-5. Oh, I know. I just thought it was just kind of interesting. And one of the clubs that was written off was Milwaukee. They lost their manager to the Chicago Cubs. Their best starting pitcher, Corbin Burns, was traded, and their next best starting pitcher, Brandon Woodruff, won't pitch in 2024 due to injury. And their top closer, Devin Williams, is out with a back problem. Yet, here the Brewers are, 6-2. Their starting pitching has been good. Their bullpen has a top 10 ERA. And on offense, the Brewers are in the top 9 in walks and number 2 in long balls per game. Cincinnati, I think, probably somewhat disappointed having lost a series to the Mets this past weekend at home. So they're looking to take 3 out of 4 against Milwaukee to start the week. The offense for the Reds is a little, let's just say, the numbers don't exactly tell the story because they scored 26 runs in their first 4 games. Then the other thing, too, is if you look at, this is sort of an oddity, their best hitters right now are all outfielders, okay? All 4, they rotate one guy in and out. And their top guy is Spencer Steer. And, we just talked about Texas. What a great name for a Texas Ranger, right? Steer. I think that's just perfect. Anyway, so Aaron Ashby will make his first start since 2022. He missed all of last year with a shoulder surgery. Cincinnati, as Ross mentioned, Graham Ashcraft doesn't throw hard, well below average on strikeouts per inning, makes mistakes, has the ball hit out of the yard. I'm going to take a flyer with Milwaukee on this one. I mean, and with the line, obviously it's a toss-up game. They're 5-1 against Ashcroft in his 6 starts, and Ashcroft has a 7.70 ERA. And at Great American Ballpark recently, Brewers 13-4. Brew Crew for me, Ross, on this one.
All right, Milwaukee minus 104 over Cincinnati. Yeah, Ashcraft, 4 career home starts at Milwaukee 9.47 ERA, 190 WHIP. So I believe I have those statistics correct. But in any event, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I don't. But Chipper, any take on this particular matchup that we're talking about right now?
Well, I love that Cincinnati Red team. This De La Cruz is just such an exciting player to watch. But I think the same goes over the total. You gave us the ERAs of these pitchers and what their records are in these ballparks, and they both have fine hitting clubs. And Milwaukee off to that great start. I can see a lot of runs being scored in this game.
Yep. So we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. And I'm looking at the fact that, you know what? Cincinnati hasn't lost 2 in a row yet this season. They're 5-4. They're 3-0 off a loss. They're coming off a loss. So I'm torn on this one, and I'm probably going to leave this one alone. And we'll ride Mr. Upstone's official pick on the Milwaukee Brewers minus 104. Folks, don't forget our sponsor site is gamblersworld.net. We guarantee all our picks there. That simply means that if you don't win, you don't make a profit on any single game or multi-game daily package or any subscription plan of 30 days or fewer. We will credit back your account the exact amount in which you paid for that particular package. So again, folks, it's not a sign of weakness. It's timing is everything sometime. You might catch us on a bad day. We know that we're going to make you money over the long haul, and that's why we guarantee those picks. In any event, also, by the way, Doug, you could find him over at DocSports.com, by the way, folks. He's the lone guy on this show it does not participate over at gamblersworld.net because he's under contract by Docs, and that's okay. He's our favorite guy at Docs. But me and Chip and 8 other great handicappers over at gamblersworld.net. Right now, folks, Major League Baseball annual package you can get right now for $6.95. That $6.95 will get you the entire Major League Baseball season right through the World Series. All right, let me get to my game, and I'll do this as quickly and as painless as possible. And it comes in the game between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Detroit Tigers. That game will take place at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And the matter at hand right now is I'm looking at the total. It's 8.5 in this contest. And it'll be Reese Olson going for the Detroit Tigers. And it'll be Mitch Keller for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reese Olson, his regular season debut came at Citi Field. And that's been his only start this season. And he was quite effective in that outing. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs allowed, 3 hits and just 2 walks. He was also very sharp in the spring, four spring starts, 308, 102. And again, I know you're facing a lot of minor league hitters in the spring, but the combination of being sharp in the spring carried over to the regular season. The Detroit bullpen has been extremely good this year. As a staff, 127 ERA, 105 WHIP, 40 Ks in 35 1/3 innings. And Detroit is 6-3, but they only average 3.2 runs per game. And what's that tell you? That tells you their pitching has been absolutely marvelous. Pittsburgh currently, with Mitch Keller on the mound, they're currently minus 125. And that's important because Mitch Keller has thrived in this role throughout his career. As a matter of fact, anytime Mitch Keller has been the starter for whatever team he's pitching for, whether it be Kansas City or Pittsburgh, he's gone 15-3 to the under when labeled as a money line favorite of 110 or greater. Detroit's bullpen, I mentioned, has been tremendous. Pittsburgh's bullpen been pretty solid themselves, a 2.90 ERA and an 0.89 WHIP as a staff so far this year. An impressive 44 strikeouts against just 10 walks in 40 1/3 innings for the Pittsburgh bullpen. And I'm going to go under the total here. By the way, Detroit, as good a start as they had to the season, they've only scored 1 run or less in 3 of their last 4 games. Detroit, Pittsburgh, under 8.5. Chipper?
Anytime I see Mitch Keller's name out there, I'm gravitating toward him, particularly against a club with a track record of the Detroit Tigers. I know they've gotten off to a pretty good start so far, but my instinct right off the top would be Mitch Keller. And I'm wondering, Ross, why the number is so shallow here. And like you said, Reese came out with a great performance first time out, but that was against the Mets, was it not? And if it was,
yes, it was at Citi
they don't have a very powerful lineup. So I'm thinking that I didn't do anything with the game, but instinctively I gravitate toward the Pirates.
Yeah, a short line here, Doug, with Pittsburgh getting off to a tremendous start, 8-2. Detroit 6-3. Who would have thought we'd be talking about these two teams being a combined 14-5 on April the 8th? But that's exactly what it is. And Doug, what do you think?
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's situation is, in terms of feeling good, they had 2 come from behind wins against Baltimore over the weekend. So, that I think that will carry over. You mentioned, Detroit 6-3. They started 5-0. They lost 3 of their last 4. And who have they played thus far? Well, they played the Pale Hose of Chicago, the Metropolitans of New York, and those Sacramento A's. And when you look at where those teams rank offensively in order, they are 30, 29, and 27, with the Tigers leading the pack in this group at 25th. So they're offensive juggernauts. They are not. So you got a hot offense right now with Pittsburgh scoring 5.9 runs per game. I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one, guys.
All right. So Chipper and both Doug and Chipper have a lean toward the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup. And I am going to go under the total of 8.5 as our official play. So recapping, folks, we're going to go Pittsburgh, Detroit under 8.5. Chipper likes the Houston Astros -135 over Texas. Doug likes the Milwaukee Brewers -104 against the Cincinnati Reds as our free selections for Monday, April the 8th in Major League Baseball. Sacramento A's. That's interesting, that reference. Isn't there AAA team, the Sacramento Bees?
Correct. That is correct. And they're playing there. So
if you play for the major league team, you're the A's. And if you play for the minor league team, you're the Bees.
Yeah, A's and B's.
A's and B's. And to Chip's point earlier, if you're going to play at a minor league ballpark, why not play in the minor league ballpark that you're going to play in the same city? Just seems like a novel idea, but original thinking. So here we go.
Somebody owes somebody a favor in Sacramento, I guess. Anyway, Chipper, 2-0 in the Final Four on Saturday. And tell the folks a little bit about maybe what you got going on tonight in the championship game and anything else you'd like to fill them in terms of how you're doing of late or what they could look forward to.
Thank you very much, Ross. I needed that 2-0 on Saturday badly because I had such a poor weekend previously 2 weeks ago. And but I've hit now my last 3 straight Megabuck winners in college basketball action, and we've got another big one in this Monday night game. There is no NBA and Major League Baseball. We just released 1 game out there. All of our rates are in this basket tonight. We like this side, so follow the buy links and become an A-play winner between Connecticut and Purdue. It should be a great matchup. I mean, Purdue losing opening round last year, and you remember what happened in Virginia after they lost the opening round? They came back and won the national championship the following year. A lot of people out here think that way, but how do you go against Connecticut? Here's a team that has just dominated the NCAA tournament for 2 straight seasons now, 11 straight covers, all double-digit wins. This one's up in the air.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup with Chip Chirimbes, one of the best big game handicappers you'll find anywhere in the country, even if he can't pronounce or remember the names of who's on both sides. The guy knows how to beat the number, baby, and that's all that counts. I know another guy who likes to beat the number, and he does it quite well. His name is Doug Upstone, and he's going to tell you exactly what he's got going on tonight and maybe going forward as well.
Yes, I have, like Chip mentioned, just 1 play in baseball, and that's what I have today as well. It's a run line game of the day, or game of the night in this case. That's available at the Doug Upstone page of Doc Sports. And I would be over 500 for the season thus far, except for Ross already knows. Drum roll, please. Extra innings. Okay. But hey, we're okay with that. It's early. I can lose a lot more of those later. So just get the first one out of the way. But I mentioned hockey repeatedly on this show and continues to do extremely well. I've hit 4 of the last 5, and best bets 23-10. So look for big card on Tuesday. Look for some action likely there. And then props continue to do well. They're hitting 61%. Would have had a nice winner yesterday, except for Anthony Davis got knocked in the head. I had him for rebounds. When he went out, that took care of that. And his replacement with the 2, if you take the 2 combined, it went over the total, okay, that I had. So, but hey, you know what? Those things happen in sports. So, like I said, 61% on those plays with props. And this week, I start looking now that most every team has gone through the rotation twice. I'll start looking at pitcher props going forward. So, looking forward to another big season to match last year's outstanding year for baseball props.
All right, there you have it. Doug Upstone. You can find him at docsports.com. A lot of great stuff there. A lot of great information he just gave you. Good win streaks, and also a lot on tap for you to cash in with. So he's our favorite guy over at Doc Sports. That's Doug Upstone. You can find me at gamblersworld.net, just the way you can find Chip. And by the way, if I have a bad day or two, I get knocked in the head as well, like Anthony Davis. And usually I bounce back and nobody has to come in for me. So in any event, I knocked myself in the head about 2 weeks ago, and things have been going good ever since. And college basketball on a 22-13 run since March the 19th. That includes the entire NCAA tournament. Right now I'm sitting at 16-10. Like Chipper, I went 2-0 in the Final Four on Saturday with both side winners. I have the winning total tonight in the game between Purdue and UConn. And folks, my college basketball total since March 10th of 2022, independently documented and monitored, 88-55. That's good for 62%. And I got the winner tonight on the total. It's a 5-unit top play. You can get that right now at gamblersworld.net for just $49. And Major League Baseball off to a 4-2 start. And going back to last August the 4th over at gamblersworld.net, 63-38 in Major League Baseball. And folks, I don't give out big favorites. I very rarely go, if ever, go over -140 on a money line favorite. Reasonably sized favorites, totals, underdogs, and first 5 inning plays is what you're going to get from me in Major League Baseball. So your ROI, when I'm doing well like I am right now, is going to be extremely high. That's Ross Benjamin over at gamblersworld.net. Fellas, great job today. I appreciate you coming aboard. And you two will be back with me on Thursday. I will be back tomorrow with Jesse Shule and Sean Higgs. We'll be talking NBA at that time. Jesse and Sean also on Wednesday in the NBA. Like I just touched upon, these two will be back with me on Thursday. And I'm not sure what we're talking then, but we'll be talking about something. And Chip, might pronounce a name or two wrong, and he might be in the wrong league when he's talking about a specific team. But that guy puts out winners, folks, and that's all that matters. And Doug, always a pleasure, my friend. So until the next time, for Chip Chirimbes, Doug Upstone, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.